WWE wanted to dominate the headlines this weekend because of AEW All In Texas, taking place on July 12th last night, which was a great show. And Adam Hangman Page won the World Heavyweight Championship from Jon Moxley in a Texas death match. No matter what WWE did, it was going to be very difficult to take away from the discussion of All In Texas. WWE loaded up this weekend with 3 different shows. Saturday night's main event, the Great American Bash for NXT, which went head-to-head with All In Texas. And then tonight, with WWE Evolution 2, their second attempt at an all-women's pay-per-view that is happening live tonight at 7 p.m. WWE tried to take the headlines and tried to take the momentum in the online chatter and swing it in their direction. Last night, it didn't work out that way. 2 big botches happened last night, one of which is a serious injury to Seth Rollins, and Bill Goldberg wrestled Gunther for the World's Heavyweight Championship, and WWE NBC seemingly cut Bill Goldberg off mid-speech after his match with Gunther, and then they went off the air. We will talk about all of the developments that happened at Saturday night's main event right here today on Off the Script. It is your Sunday, July 13th, 2025. I watched All In last night, or yesterday afternoon. I covered it last night. If you guys missed that on the post show, Jesse and I went over 4 hours. Lots of great discussion. A really great time last night with my community. And we had one of the biggest AEW streams in the history of the channel. 60,000 plus views between YouTube and Twitter, man. So thank you guys very much for that. I was not going to watch anything WWE related. It is not fair. And AEW, for their night, their biggest show of the year, all eyes should be on them. WWE, we know why they did what they did. AEW is competition. And if WWE could take food off of AEW's table, they will. And that's what the report went on to say this week. The reason why WWE loaded up this weekend is because they wanted to sway the online chatter in their direction. Saturday night's main event, I did follow up with after my stream was over. Believe it or not, I was completely fried from watching all this pro wrestling. All In went 7 hours. And then Saturday night's main event on Peacock, I watched it without the commercials. Thankfully, it was an hour and a half on the Peacock app. It wasn't a bad show, but it also didn't present itself as a very important show. It was definitely a setup show for what is to come. And these Saturday night main events, the idea of them back in December, when we were heading towards the first one of this revival, I was excited about it. I thought it would be a mini PLE. I thought big things would be happening. I thought a lot of newsworthy moments were going to be coming off these shows. These shows have been no better than what we see on a weekly Raw or a weekly SmackDown. Nothing really important. And WWE, they have to abide by network television and NBC Universal, the commercials and the advertisements. It is really, really trying fans' patience at this point. Now, I may find this new way to watch Saturday night's main event the way to do it from now on and just not watch it live or watch it live, tweet along with you guys, and then I don't know how I would go about it to just avoid the commercials. Maybe I don't watch it live and I just watch the replay back on Peacock and then go live at a later time. 11 o'clock, 11:30 when we do these things on a Saturday night. I can't sit through the commercials. It's just completely ludicrous at this point. But last night, it was a much better viewing experience for me to watch it after the fact when the app doesn't really include the commercials. So that may be the way to go about it. Only 4 matches on last night's show. Not really a lot to talk about. We had Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, which was basically, we'll get into it, the opening match, basically a backdrop for what the SummerSlam announcement would eventually end up being, and that is Randy Orton now teaming with Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. I will get into that discussion again here tonight. Some people clearly didn't understand where I was coming from on Friday Night SmackDown. I agree with those that don't want to see it, and I absolutely said, you have every right to feel the way that you do, that you don't want to see this, because the creative is not really where it should be this year as far as WWE standards are concerned. I get it. But at the same time, you got to understand that WWE's been doing this since the dawn of time with celebrity appearances. And now their partnership with TKO and Netflix and all these other Hollywood agencies, you know that WWE is going to Hollywood it up for their shows. So it's not a surprise to anybody. We'll get into that. Jimmy Uso challenged Solo Sakoa for the United States Championship. Then we had Seth Rollins and the injury that couldn't have come at a worse time. Absolutely brutal injury to Seth Rollins. A lot of people thought it was a work, the way that it came off. I watched it and dissected at least a dozen times. And I am under the belief, and WrestleVotes put out a tweet last night, that this is not a work and it is legit. We will definitely go over that. He went one-on-one with LA Knight. What happens to SummerSlam? What happens to the Money in the Bank contract? What happens to Seth Rollins' eventual World Championship title win? I will discuss that, what they should and shouldn't do. And then Bill Goldberg challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. That was the main event of Saturday night's main event. 16 minutes. They gave Bill Goldberg 16 minutes in his final match against one of the best professional wrestlers on the face of the planet. Nobody asked for Bill Goldberg to go 16 minutes. We did only get one commercial break in it, but seemingly at the end of the match, Goldberg's semi-retirement speech went off, and NBC decided to cut him off mid-sentence. And that was basically it. We're going to have a very abbreviated review here today on your Sunday, July 13th. This is your Saturday night's main event review right here on Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And please make sure you guys go check out all of the other content on the channel this week. Big weekend still yet to come. We're not done yet. Your guy right here is going to be reviewing WWE Evolution tonight live. We will be live on the channel for the Evolution official post show right here on Off the Script. As soon as the show is over, around 10:30, we will be going live right here on YouTube with the full breakdown of everything. We'll start off with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. It's the opening match on Saturday night's main event. Like I told you guys, it was certainly more of a backdrop to what the announcement was for SummerSlam than anything. I can't sit here and personally hate on anything Randy Orton does or anything Drew McIntyre does. Love both of those guys. The television show is a lot better when both of them are integrated into important roles and aspects on the show. We'll pick it up after the commercial break. Orton recovered through some McIntyre offense, and he was back in the ring. Irish whip by Drew McIntyre worked Orton over and over again as far as the back is concerned. He worked Randy Orton's back, being that was the injury that kept Randy Orton out for 18 months. Then he started delivering some chops that Orton no-sold, knocked McIntyre to the mat. McIntyre went for a stomp, but Orton power slammed him. Signature Randy Orton snap power slam. McIntyre rolled out, followed by Orton, who slammed him on the announce desk 3 more times. That happened also in the beginning of the match, where McIntyre did it to Randy Orton. Back in the ring, Orton hit his vintage DDT. Logan Paul's on the outside. He's in Drew McIntyre's corner. Jelly Roll is in Randy Orton's corner. McIntyre hit Orton with a Claymore because Logan Paul caused the distraction. On the outside, Jelly Roll decided to get involved. Logan Paul and Jelly Roll started arguing and throwing words at each other, and it ended up with Jelly Roll eventually shoving Logan Paul down to the ground. That got McIntyre upset. He started yelling at Jelly Roll from inside the ring as Jelly Roll was on the outside of the ring with Logan Paul. And this obviously led to an RKO out of nowhere, and Drew McIntyre got the victory. I was actually surprised that Drew McIntyre lost this match. And I'm going to go on record and say again that McIntyre just got back to television, and he hasn't really done much of anything even since coming back. This was his first match back since coming back after a little time away. And the match at SummerSlam more than likely is going to swing in Orton and Jelly Roll's direction. So why couldn't Drew McIntyre at least get a victory here and have the heels stand tall over the baby faces before the baby faces eventually get their win back. Now, we got 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks still to go. Something could happen for sure in those 2.5 weeks. But a McIntyre win over Randy Orton would have done McIntyre a lot better than him once again laying on his back looking at the spotlights. I didn't really understand that. But the loss, they tried to translate the loss and turn it into something where the heels got the advantage over the babyface in the post-match. Logan Paul jumped Orton, started beating him up in the ring. Jelly Roll's on the outside, and he's got this conflicted look. He doesn't want to get in there because he knows Logan Paul told him he doesn't belong here. We don't need the likes of you here. He's just got this conflicted look on his face. He eventually mans up, and he gets into the ring, and he punches Logan Paul right in the face. And then out of nowhere, McIntyre hits a Claymore kick on Jelly Roll, and you watch the replay happen. McIntyre delivered as safe of a Claymore kick as you could possibly deliver in this situation to Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll sold it pretty decently. He gets knocked out. McIntyre is yelling at him. This is not where you need to be. You want to get in the ring. This is what's going to happen. You don't belong here. You're stepping into my world now. Things along those lines, basically piggybacking off of what Logan Paul had told him on Friday. And that was basically it. They helped Jelly Roll out of the ring. Randy Orton comes to. He's telling Jelly Roll he's sorry. And they all walk out together as the heels get the post-match attack after McIntyre takes an RKO to lose this opening match to Randy Orton. I know you guys, listen. The WWE creative team for the majority of this year has been dog shit. Triple H, the creative writing, the stories, the directions, it's been dog shit. I honestly believe, and I mean this wholeheartedly, if WWE was fucking operating on all cylinders and they were doing what they needed to do and you fucking were loving the show, loving the stories, and they had that one huge just, I'm emotionally invested storyline on WWE television, this would look a lot less offensive. I mean that wholeheartedly. If we had something that universally we were all just completely interested in, a match like this, an appearance by Jelly Roll, him wrestling would not be that big of a deal. The reason why everybody is saying, why is this on my TV? Who asked for this? I don't want to see this. They got time to book Jelly Roll, but they can't find TV time for Carmelo Hayes. Why is this happening to Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre? This is beneath them. How McIntyre goes from last year, wrestling CM Punk, to this year, Jelly Roll. Let's stop. Let's stop disrespecting Randy Orton in that sense, please. Can we not disrespect Randy Orton? Number one. Number two, you have every right to feel that way. And you feel that way because the stories and the television shows have been awful. Everything is magnified when the rest of what you've seen this year has been awful. So when they do something like this, it shows you, the fan, that they're not really changing for the better and that they're going to continue doing what they got to do for their Hollywood friends and continue to integrate their Hollywood friends into the show. When Dwayne wants and TKO wants and the networks want. It's just the way it is. And I mean that wholeheartedly. It's just a fact of the situation. If things were better, this wouldn't look as bad as it does now. Do you have to like it? No, I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I don't really give a shit about celebrity appearances. I think we've been to the top of the mountain when it comes to celebrity appearances. Bad Bunny, Logan Paul, whoever else is going to get in there. We've already gotten the best of the best, honestly. It's going to be difficult for Jelly Roll to go in there and do anything close to what Logan Paul has done and Bad Bunny has done. I don't want to write him off because who the fuck knows what he's done and how he's been training and what they got planned. I mean, this guy's going to pull out a fucking Jelly Destroyer in New Jersey at SummerSlam and the fans are going to go fucking ballistic. That's exactly what's going to happen. And everyone's going to forget it and it's going to go viral on social media and everyone's going to be using it for clicks and engagement. So, I mean, the world of social media goes round and round. The problem is everything sucks this year. So this is a lot more magnified. A lot of this also has to do with the creative team finding a spot for Jelly Roll and they can't find spots for someone like Carmelo Hayes or Austin Theory or guys like that, and they can't creatively put the effort in to get their own people on television. But for the past 2 days, they found elements of story here to get Jelly Roll and forward and progress a storyline with Jelly Roll, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre. You see where their priorities are. It's less about pro wrestling. It's more about celebrity and getting that mainstream attention. I hate it. It's not my WWE, but that's what it's been. And I hoped that it would be moving away from that, but it's seemingly only getting more and more worse, honestly. WWE's been doing celebrity appearances since the dawn of time. This is not going to end. When you and I are fucking 20 years older than what we are now, whoever's hot now and whatever big musical artist or rap star that will be 20 years from now, they will be on Monday Night Raw. It's not going to end. All I could say is that at least Orton is in there with McIntyre. McIntyre's in there with Orton. They are great. Logan Paul, you might not like him as an individual and you might find him to be a scummy human being. But the body of work that he does in the ring, he's better than a lot of guys that do it regularly. And he's a great athlete. He's a great promo. He knows how to get heat. He understands the business. I don't mind him being on television if it makes sense. Jelly Roll is the fourth wheel in this thing. He's going to get a spot here or there, and he's going to have a total of 2 minutes, maybe, in the ring at SummerSlam while the pros take care and lead that to a good match. So I don't know what the complaining is about, but I do understand why people don't like it. And the reason why you don't like it is because everything else this year has been fucking offensively bad. Coming out of Travis Scott, it's been fucking nothing but a nightmare. Nobody wants another musical artist on television after what we got with Travis Scott. You guys got nightmares about what's to come just based off what you've been given already. I'm going to give it a shot. The television hasn't been bad. The angle that they've been cutting for the past 2 nights has not been bad, and it could surprise a lot of people. Do Orton and McIntyre deserve better? Sure, but they are in there with each other. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's not going to be a Randy Orton-Drew McIntyre feud, and we don't really know where they're going to go after SummerSlam. They could still be at each other's throats after SummerSlam. But the reason why you don't like it is because a lot of everything that you watched on WWE television has been fucking bad, so this is going to look a lot worse in the end. But you have every right to feel the way that you do. I don't want it. I don't care about Jelly Roll. Why isn't this guy on television, but they got time to write for him? I get it. Trust me, I do. But I'm trying to be level-headed about it instead of just fucking ranting and raving about it. Has the angle so far been... Has it been all right? Sure. I thought they worked within whatever means they have on television. I thought they worked within those boundaries pretty well. I don't care about it. I'm trying to look at the bright side here. But at the end of the day, I think we can all summarize WWE this year up until what we got here going into SummerSlam. Their television has not been good all year. You've got glimmers of hope here. You got a couple of good shows here, a couple of good shows there. The majority of 2025 has been absolutely the reverse of what we got in 2024. It's been bad. I'm trying to look at the bright side here. Do not ever think that Orton and McIntyre, whatever they are putting their names to, is going to end up being bad. I would never in 1,000 lifetimes sit here as a content creator covering WWE and go against anything Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre do. So if you trust me as a creator to give you the honest, upfront opinion about what's going on here, trust me in that at least. McIntyre and Orton, they don't attach their names to something subpar. They're going to kill it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Solo Sakoa and Jimmy Uso. This was for the United States Championship. The one thing that I thought about here is, A, I don't care. B, I'm watching Jimmy Uso wrestle here, and I'm thinking, Jimmy Uso is so much technically sound, so much better technically sound in the ring than Jey Uso. If Jey Uso had the charisma if Jimmy Uso had the charisma of Jey Uso, we would be looking at the guy that you realistically could get behind in all aspects. They both bring each other to greatness when they are together. That's why I miss the Usos so much. Jimmy is a very good, adequate in-ring performer. Jey is all right too, but Jay's got more charisma than Jimmy does. You put them together, that's what makes them the perfect tag team. I thought what he did here with Solo Sikoa actually was not bad. I would go on record and say that this was probably the second best match of the fucking night. Honestly, in some circles, it might be the best match. Technically, in ring aspect wise, best match of the night. So I didn't really sit here claiming that this was a bad match. Crowd was into it. We got Jacob Fatu to return at the end of the match. The one thing that's really hindering me from being overly gleaming about the United States Championship title picture is that it's fucking boring. That's it. I'm at a level right now where I'm just over the bloodline stuff. I don't find any interest in JC Mateo. He's just an albatross. He's just whatever, an albatross. He's just there. There's nothing there. He's on TV with these other guys who just holds the whole fucking show down. Tala Tonga, we haven't heard a fucking word about him. We haven't heard a word from him. All I've seen him do is fucking look big and deliver a big boot. Then we got Tongaloa. I mean, the legendary status of Tongaloa doesn't really know any boundaries. I mean, he's in a tag team with his brother. We don't know where his brother is. We don't know when his brother's coming back. He's useless by himself. He's a fucking henchman. That's it. Solo Sikoa's coming to his own, but I said on Friday, the last 2 weeks he's taken 2 back-to-back losses. He's not really embarking on a successful United States Championship title run so far. You would think he won the championship, that they would treat him like a champion. He won the championship. He's lost his first 2 matches. He's gotten pinned. Why would you treat your champion that way? I can't buy into anything that they're doing. This was fine for what it was. But again, this was all a backdrop to getting Jacob Fatu to return and more than likely set up another match with Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship at SummerSlam. Solo was in control after the commercial break. He hoisted Jimmy up onto the ring apron. Uso blocked it and hit a super kick, followed by a German suplex. He then hit a crossbody from the top rope, goes for recovery, gets a 2 count. Uso went to the opposite turnbuckle and hit an Uso splash, but Solo kicked out again at a 2. The MFTs, which I'm assuming is the new name of the group, the MFTs. MFT. I thought it was motherfucking Tonga. It's apparently My Family Tree. Great. I like the way I spell it out for you a little bit better than them. The MFTs wandered around the outside of the ring as Solo staggered to his feet. Uso went for a spear. Solo caught him, set up for a Samoan spike. Uso dodged it, hit a couple of super kicks. He then went up top again. Solo rolled out of the ring. Uso hits a moonsault onto Solo and his boys on the outside. Tala Tonga tried to get involved. Uso kicked him in the face. That lets Solo roll him up to get the pin and retain the United States Championship. After the match, Solo and the MFTs began beating down Jimmy Uso. They held him while Solo hit him with a Samoan spike. All of a sudden, Jacob Fatu arrived and picked off the MFTs one by one. Tongaloa climbed over the top rope and stared down, Tala Tonga, not Tongaloa. Tala Tonga climbed over the top rope, stared down Fatu. Fatu was in there staring him face to face, and he sent Tala Tonga over the top rope and then dove onto the MFTs and took everybody out. He got back in the ring. He backed up Jimmy Uso. He saved the day, and that was the way everything came to an end there. Crowd was big time into this. I think the crowd made this better than it actually was on Saturday night. I don't care about Solo Sikoa winning the United States Championship, but I understood why Solo Sikoa won the United States Championship. It was to get this into SummerSlam, where we hopefully see Jacob Fatu take back that title, because with the introduction of Tala Tonga and the return of Tongaloa and the group, seemingly coming back to full strength at 100%, he needed to win the championship. If Jacob Fatu just beats Solo, then none of this is an issue and we move on. But the issue is Solo and Jacob. The issue was Solo taking the United States title from Jacob. If Jacob beat him, it would be all over. Nothing that I mentioned would even matter. So we're going into SummerSlam with this match more than likely taking place. I don't really care about any of this. I feel like it is just an albatross holding SmackDown down. It gives SmackDown that same old feeling, and I need the show to have a story that is really, really engaging and doesn't feel like we've been over this a dozen times already before. Jacob Fatu is another thing. I love Jacob Fatu. I will never say a bad thing about Jacob Fatu as far as what he brings to the table. He is a future piece of the company, a superstar in the making. WWE finally got him, and the Rocket Pack has been strapped to him ever since he walked in the company. But the thing is, and I may be in the minority on this. You guys let me know. Jacob Fatu is very good at what he does, but WWE is seemingly making him a little too one-dimensional. And what I mean by that is, when he's in there and he's got the right guy and you let him go for 15, 20 minutes, he'll give you a fucking banger match every single time. WWE is stereotyping him and pigeonholing him into one thing with one or two catchphrases, and he just repeats it over and over and over again. He does the fucking shake that he does in the ring. He talks about all gas, no brakes, yada mean, get in where you fit in. I mean, he's just... It's like you're playing your favorite song on Spotify over and over and over and over again. How many times can you listen to it over and over and over again? Every time he comes out there over and over and over again, how many times can you listen to it before you get bored of it and go on and find something else interesting to listen to? It's not a good look, bro. I feel like Jacob Fatu, and again, I might be alone in this. I feel like Jacob Fatu is becoming very one-dimensional. I feel like Jacob Fatu is slowly but surely becoming a manufactured product of the WWE machine, instead of just letting him go out there, speak his mind, let it flow free, and give him the fucking canvas to do what he needs to do. I think at this point, with where he is in his life and his career, you give him the free rein to do what he needs to do. I honestly feel like it would be a lot better than WWE just fucking painting him as this one-dimensional, couple of catchphrase guy that comes out there and shakes and saves his family from a beatdown every single week. I can't stand it. Shit needs to change here, man. I get that WWE wants to have their paws and everything, and they want to control the narrative, but man, you have taken this guy from feeling genuine and a fucking savage to him feeling like just another guy rolling off the assembly line. And I don't want to be saying that about Jacob Fatu, but I'm just starting to get the feeling that everything with him is starting to feel the same old shit. And I don't want to feel that way about him, man. Hopefully shit changes. The match with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll was made official. Tag team match between them, Drew McIntyre, and Logan Paul at SummerSlam. Orton feels bad for putting Jelly Roll in harm's way. Jelly Roll wants revenge. They both want Paul and McIntyre at SummerSlam. Tag team match made official. 3 matches now official for SummerSlam. Cody versus John Cena. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill, because those are the king and queen of the rings. And now this match. 3 matches. Only 3 matches with 2.5 weeks left to go. Does it feel like a 2-night SummerSlam to you? The build that we're getting right now with the time that we have left, it feels like WWE is building towards a 1-night SummerSlam instead of a 2-night SummerSlam. LA Knight. He went one-on-one with Seth Rollins here, and this was a culmination of what we've been seeing on television. LA Knight and Seth Rollins were the final 2 battling over the Money in the Bank contract inside the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. King of the Ring comes, and LA Knight was screwed out of the King of the Ring tournament by Seth Rollins' boys. LA Knight turns around and returns the favor, and he screws over Seth Rollins' boys from winning the King of the Ring tournament. And this is where we are right now. Rollins and LA Knight. I said coming on in, Rollins couldn't lose this match because he's the leader of a faction, and it would be a bad look if everybody else won on Monday and then Rollins would come into Saturday and lose to LA Knight. Now, the original plans had for Rollins, according to reports, the original plans had Rollins winning this match. An audible was clearly called, and LA Knight ended up beating Seth Rollins, and it was because of the injury that happened in the middle of this match. Rollins will pick it up after the commercial break here. Knight was in control before the commercial. He threw Rollins across the announce table, and we go into a commercial break. We come back from the commercial. Rollins had LA Knight in a body scissor in the middle of the ring. Knight powered out with some back elbows. Rollins hoisted him up for a reverse backbreaker. Frog splash off the top rope. Goes for cover, only gets a 2 count. Rollins went for a curb stomp. LA Knight dodged it. DDT on Rollins. He then goes up top rope for the big jump up elbow that he does. Rollins kicked out at a 2. LA Knight, he is stomping a mud hole in Rollins in the corner. Ended up with a big running hip attack. LA Knight tried for the BFT, but Rollins pushed out and put a shoulder right into LA Knight's midsection. Rollins then goes up top LA Knight followed and started chopping Rollins on the top turnbuckle. Rollins headbutted Knight off the top turnbuckle. He leapt off right back into Rollins' arms for a buckle bomb. Rollins hits a super kick. Senton followed by a moonsault. And this is where things went down very, very quickly. Rollins is on the apron. He springboards up into a senton, springboard senton, swanton, whatever you want to call it. He springboards, nails the swanton, and then he rolls his knee. If you guys go back and watch the replay, which would be easy to find on social media, everybody's talking about it. It looked like his knee bent. It wasn't really like, it didn't look bad, but the way that his leg kind of twisted slightly after rolling off of the swanton bomb, it looked like he might have rolled himself the wrong way. He did get back up, and then he did a lionsault. And he missed it because LA Knight got up. But he landed on his feet, did Rollins. But when he landed on his feet, the same leg that came down and hit the mat, it looked like his knee buckled, and he immediately went to go sit in the corner. He laid down, he pulled himself into the corner, he called the referee over. Paul Heyman, the look on Paul Heyman's face went from smiling because his guy was in control to downright fucking, it did not look good. Heyman knew in the moment that things went from fucking great to disaster in about 3 seconds. The look on Paul Heyman's face said everything. Rollins was sitting in the corner. You physically saw Rollins. He was going through like 3 or 4 different emotions. He was confused. He was scared. It looked like he was shaking. And you know him in the knee injuries, bro. He looked like he was scared. He was telling something to the referee. Jessica Carr was the referee of this match. He was telling Paul Heyman something. The doctor comes over, and an audible in this moment was called. LA Knight didn't know what was going on. He was trying to play it up and play it up to Rollins in the crowd. They told him to back off. Rollins gets up, BFT, 1, 2, 3, and LA Knight wins the match. And that's it. Rollins was helped out of the ring, and he had arm in arm around Medical, and they carried him to the back, or assisted him to the back. And Rollins, we didn't hear about anything regarding Rollins in this moment for the rest of the night. And we waited with bated breath on social media. I know there were a couple of reports. WrestleVotes put out something saying that it was a legit situation. It is not a work. They heard from sources close to the situation that it is seemingly looking like it is a legit injury. Other reports said Rollins landed and ended up holding his knee. He and LA Knight immediately went to the finish with LA Knight winning. There was an audible called in that moment, and Rollins was slated to win. The word backstage was that Rollins' injury was legit. It had at least not been planned for by medical personnel. Nobody knows the severity of the injury right now. Everybody's rushing to find out what exactly is going on here. And Rollins, this injury to Rollins could not have come at a worse time for WWE, being that their television show has been centered around this story, this group, Rollins and the World Championship. It's been centered around everything regarding, there's like 4 or 5 different directions with this group spearheading their television show, and that seemingly looks like everything just has gone up in smoke. SummerSlam is going to look vastly different from what was planned. I hope they have a plan B. I seriously hope they have a plan B. I see a lot of online chatter. I see a lot of discussion about this. Some people thought it was a work, the way that he landed. I wanted to believe it's a work. Trust me, I don't think it's a work. I will say this first. I feel terrible for Seth Rollins. Not only was I invested in what they were doing, it took a little bit of time for us to really get on board with what's going on here because they're just slow burning and slow playing everything. I was genuinely excited to see where Rollins would go with the World Championship and how he would lead Monday Night Raw with this new group and the makeup of this group and what was going to happen, who else they were going to add, who else was going to valiantly fight for the Raw brand to battle Seth Rollins and his new empire. I was invested in it. And now it looks like it might not be happening. I feel terrible for him. We just got done discussing. We talked about this on Monday. We talked about this on Tuesday with the Solid Monster on TNT. A lot of people look at this group and might not find themselves to be interested in Rollins' group because they don't believe in Seth Rollins. Rollins is the type of guy that is great when chasing the title. Rollins, when he wins the title, is seemingly a champion that the fans don't really find themselves overly invested in for a long stretch of time. He's better in the chase than he is as a champion. The injuries have mounted, and now it's going to start a whole new discussion of, is he body ready? Is he body capable of running the fucking brand as the top guy? I mean, I didn't want to say Rollins was fragile because there was a nice stretch of time where he was putting on banger matches and doing what he needed to do, and I thought we put all this behind us. But clearly, that leg, the injury to the knees, which have been his Achilles heel, it almost looked like it was a ticking time bomb ready to go off, and that's exactly what happened. I don't want to say he's injury prone, but another shot to the knee, another injury to the knee is going to spark a whole nother level of discussion, and it's going to raise concerns of, is he capable of holding up to run a show as the top act, the top heel act, and the top faction on the show as a world champion? Is he ready for that spot? Could he handle it without breaking down again? We may never know now. I have no idea what the plan is. I'll tell you what they should not do. They shouldn't take the Money in the Bank contract off of Seth Rollins. If this is as bad as people are anticipating it's going to be, he'll be out 7, 8, 9 months. He just won the briefcase at Money in the Bank in June or July. Why does he need to, when was it, June? I think it was June, right? Why does he need to have the Money in the Bank contract stripped away from him when you have 12 months to cash in that contract? And being that with the injury, surgery, and rehabilitation, more than likely he will be back within that 12-month time period. Why take it off of him? If you want to keep it on him and you want to continue with the vision that you had originally set forth, then why not just keep the briefcase on him? Now, if by chance they do creatively take the briefcase off of him, there are a couple ways to go about it. Number one, he could pass it off to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker could be the guy, and Braun Breaker, plan B, because we all figured that this group was put together with Braun Breaker in mind to help him get over and him be the guy and him be the future of the company. Just pass it off to Braun Breaker. Why not? I don't know if that's allowed, but that's why you're a creative writer. Write it and make it make sense. That's number one. Number two, you could hold a new Money in the Bank ladder match at SummerSlam. You want to put it on the line again? If you really want to take it from Seth Rollins and put it in the hands of somebody who's actively running on the show now, being that Rollins is going to be out for a good 8 or 9 months, have a Money in the Bank ladder match at SummerSlam and just redo it all over again. That's also a possibility. I don't know. I don't really think that's going to happen, but that is also a possibility. What also should not happen is Brock Lesnar. I see a lot of Brock Lesnar discussion here. Why would you bring back Brock Lesnar in the midst of him being named in the Vince McMahon lawsuit? I don't think WWE, I don't think TKO wants to really meddle in that type of situation until the lawsuit finds itself over. Why bring back Brock Lesnar? Would I like to see Brock Lesnar against Braun Breaker or Gunther or John Cena again in his final run? Sure. But I don't think that's a good idea right now. There's a time and a place for that. I don't think that's going to be here in 2025. I genuinely don't know. Rollins could remain on television in the midst of the injury and still hold around the briefcase. They could turn on Rollins and kick him out of the fucking group for being a failed leader. Turn Rollins into a babyface again and have Braun Breaker run as the fucking heel and just add Braun Breaker as the new leader and build around Braun Breaker as it would be his group. How many people have started discussions about Rollins is good, but I don't really get the partnership with Paul Heyman. It just feels out of place. It doesn't feel natural. It feels forced. I understand that. So maybe they cut an angle where Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turn on Seth Rollins, kick him out of the group, and they just put Braun Breaker as the leader with Paul Heyman, which was the original vision to begin with, and they just add others around them with Rollins out of the picture. Rollins comes back, seek revenge, and things go on from there. I don't know. It's also a possibility. What happens at SummerSlam? Now, I thought Rollins and Reigns was a possibility for SummerSlam. I thought Rollins and Punk was a possibility for SummerSlam. Maybe Reigns would get Braun Breaker. What about Gunther? What's happening with Gunther in the World Heavyweight Championship? A lot of everything at SummerSlam is now up in the air because of Rollins' injury. He was factored into several different aspects on the show, just like Liv Morgan and the Evolution plans. Liv Morgan was involved in several different things on the show. Her injury derailed all those plans, and they had to scrap a lot of what they had planned to rewrite the entire show with 3 weeks to go. So I feel for WWE, but this is crunch time now. How are you going to adjust in the midst of a devastating injury to one of your top acts in the biggest storyline on your television show right now? It's going to really push WWE to the limit to see how good they really are. Hopefully they had a plan B. The way I would go about it is I would probably do Punk versus LA Knight versus Gunther at SummerSlam and have one of them potentially take down Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk winning the World Heavyweight Championship would be to me, I'd love to see that happen eventually, but I don't know what their mentality is going into SummerSlam. LA Knight, if not in that match, I don't really see where he fits in because his entire thing was about Seth Rollins. Does he wrestle Braun Breaker? Does he wrestle Bronson Reed? None of those situations sound interesting. We could do Punk and Reigns versus Breaker and Bronson Reed at SummerSlam while LA Knight gets Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. But again, it doesn't really feel the same if Rollins is not there to cash in. I think the one thing holding everybody back from really predicting something and really creating something as a plan B is that Money in the Bank briefcase. Hopefully we'll find out come Monday. Is WWE going to put the briefcase in the hands of somebody else? Is WWE going to redo the Money in the Bank ladder match and find a new owner for that briefcase in the midst of Rollins' injury? Is Rollins going to continue holding the briefcase for 12 months, being that he's probably going to be back well before the 12 months is up? I don't know. SummerSlam is going to look vastly different without Seth Rollins because I think we were all anticipating a cash-in. Whether it would be against LA Knight and Gunther, whether it would be against Punk and Gunther. I mean, he's meddled with the John Cena, Cody Rhodes narrative. We don't know if that was the plan. A potential Roman Reigns match was on the horizon. I personally would love to see that. Now that's off the table. Tag team match with Rollins and Breaker versus Punk and Reigns at SummerSlam was also an option. All of this went out the fucking window. Every bit of it went out the window now. I don't know what WWE is going to do. I don't. This is a devastating injury. And like I said in the beginning, WWE wanted to control the narrative and have all of the newsworthy moments and all of the social media hype going in their direction. This is not the type of social media reaction. This is not the news flash that they wanted for the weekend trying to counter-program AEW. Rollins injured, that's only going to cast more doubt on everybody that hasn't enjoyed the majority of their television for 2025. Now we're wondering what SummerSlam's going to look like. Where's Money in the Bank going to go? Where are these stories going to go? Monday Night Raw just lost its biggest story. I don't know, man. Triple H, hopefully he has a plan B because a lot of what happened here with this one injury derailed 4 or 5 different options and storylines for WWE. Hopefully they know what they're doing come Monday. Gunther, he went one-on-one with Bill Goldberg. World Heavyweight Championship match. I am not the biggest Bill Goldberg fan. I don't claim to be a Bill Goldberg fan at all. I was more interested to see how Gunther would handle wrestling Bill Goldberg in his very fragile state at 54 or 58 rather, 58 years old. This all started when Gunther said something about Goldberg and his son at Bad Blood, as Gunther usually is very sarcastic and has this nature about him, this natural ability about him to get under people's skins by being a very pompous, sarcastic heel. Goldberg was mad about it. He showed up at Raw 1 year later to confront, well, not 1 year later, but at least 8 or 9 months later, to confront Gunther about what he said and basically come back to retire as soon as WWE announced Saturday night's main event in Atlanta. So he had no problem with what Gunther said back in October, but when he showed up in June to start building this match, then he had a problem with it. It's fucking lazy. WWE did absolutely nothing in regards to Goldberg and Gunther For 8 months, they did nothing. No interactions, no promos, no mentions from Goldberg to Gunther, Gunther to Goldberg. Nothing. The only thing that we got was Goldberg announcing that he would be retiring this year and that it would be in the South. That was it. Then all of a sudden, we get Saturday night's main event announced the same night as All in Texas, and it would be in Atlanta. Boom. There you go. You want WWE creative for 2025? That's how little effort WWE has put into some of their storylines. Goldberg comes back, it's a championship match. Trish Stratus comes back, it's a championship match. Champions are not choosing their opponents for Evolution. It's fucking lazy, and it boils down to WWE having too many shows, and they gotta rush the creative and rush the build, where everything just seems chaotic. Nothing flows from one show to the next show to the next show. Everything is just, let's throw it up in the air and see where it lands. That's the type of environment that they have created. And it's infuriating as a fan watching the show. Goldberg made his way out to the ring in traditional fashion, minus the concussion and the bleeding forehead, by slamming his head into the door, the locker room door. Crowd was into Goldberg in the entrance. We got a lot of big Goldberg chants here. And he was out there with old WCW head of security, Doug Dellinger. He was out there for the walk to the ring. Goldberg looked as good as you could look for 58 years old. Did Goldberg look like he was walking swiftly to the ring? No. Goldberg looked like he was limping to the ring. It looked like he struggled a little bit to really get that motion going, even walking to the ring. He made his entrance. Gunther makes his entrance. Lillian Garcia, ring announcer for Saturday night's main event, had the microphones come down from the ceiling, and she announced this match. We got the big introductions. It felt like a big deal. They made it feel like a big deal. They made it feel like a finale here between Goldberg and Gunther. So I'll give them that. Then the bell rings. Goldberg took a moment to listen to the crowd chanting his name for the last time. They locked up. Goldberg shoved Gunther to the mat. Surprised Gunther. Didn't surprise me. Goldberg is a strong son of a bitch, even at 58 years old, so he shoved Gunther down. Gunther put a boot in Goldberg's stomach and bounced off the ropes for a shoulder. Goldberg no-sold it. Gunther began chopping him, and Goldberg no-sold it. There was a great visual where the camera, if you go to WWE website, they got a great photo of Gunther chopping Goldberg, and you just see the ripples in Goldberg's chest after the hard-hitting chop from Gunther. And Goldberg no-sold it. I was surprised that he actually delivered a chop. I believe he did like 2 or 3 chops. So good on Goldberg at his age for taking that, because that cannot feel good for a fucking half the age of Goldberg. But Goldberg took it at 58 years old, so kudos for him taking those chops. Goldberg sent Gunther into the corner and began kicking and punching him, whipped him out, clotheslined him, set up for jackhammer, but Gunther punched out of it. Goldberg began favoring his knee at this point. This was the focus of the match, the knee. Gunther went up top. Goldberg grabbed him, tossed him into the ring off of the top rope with a big power slam. He crouched down. He went for the spear. Gunther saw it coming. He rolled out of the ring. Goldberg followed, and Gunther resumed chopping him on the outside. He went for a spear on the outside, but Gunther moved, and Goldberg went right through the timekeeper's barricade. So far, so good up until this point. Gunther started bullying Goldberg, talking shit and pie-facing him. This led to Goldberg hitting a spine buster out of nowhere. In the corner, Goldberg starts punching Gunther. He seized the moment, did Gunther, and attacked, but Goldberg hit a back body drop, set up for the spear once again. Unfortunately, Gunther moved, and Goldberg then speared referee Charles Robinson. Gunther took advantage, and there was no referee, and he wrapped Goldberg's leg around the ropes, pulling off his knee brace in the process and wrenching on the knee. There was a great visual of Gunther ripping the knee brace off of Goldberg's knee and just holding in the air like it's a trophy, like he just slaughtered his victim. Gunther then starts hitting the knee with the brace. This would obviously be disqualification, but Charles Robinson just got speared. Goldberg gets up to his feet, and Gunther hit him in the head with the brace. Gunther then noticed Gage, Goldberg's son, sitting at ringside and started jawing at him, talking shit. Gage actually hopped the barricade, and security immediately separated Goldberg's son here, Gage, and Gunther. Gunther climbed back into the ring just in time to get hit with a Goldberg spear. Crowd went crazy. He grabbed Gunther by the neck. He hit one final jackhammer. There was no official. And then after the jackhammer, Goldberg did not immediately make a cover. He was selling the knee, slow to make the cover. He crawled on his back to make the cover on Gunther. Referee finally shows up, a second referee that is. He slides into the ring, and it's only a 2 count. So that was a great spot. A little bit of a hope spot for the Atlanta crowd. Gunther locked in a sleeper. Goldberg refused to tap. Goldberg tried to power out of it, could not do it. And at 9:57 p.m. Eastern, Goldberg passed out, giving Gunther the win and ending his 28-year wrestling career. I expected a lot worse. If you want my honest opinion, I expected a lot worse. Was this the big spectacle that everybody needed to go out there and watch? No, Goldberg was used as a fucking chess piece in their game against AEW. It was a strategic move, and that's the reason why they did it. Did it end up being the biggest, most talked about thing of the entire weekend? No. No. Nor should it be. It's Bill Goldberg. I can't imagine a lot of people gave a shit about Bill Goldberg retiring here against Gunther on Saturday night's main event. It was a match. It was his final match. Goodbye. It was 16 minutes or so. He ended his career, and that's it. It will lead to nothing else. It's over. I expected a lot worse. It was not as offensive as I was expecting it to be. Just like the Randy Orton John Cena match at Backlash. I don't want to sit here and tell you it was, a Bill Goldberg barn burner, but for 16 minutes, the story that they tried to tell, it wasn't bad. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was fucking awful. It was offensive. Stay away from it. Don't watch it. I expected a 3-minute, 4-minute match. We got 16 minutes, and they told a proper story. I will never in 1,000 lifetimes doubt Gunther in the ring to tell a story and bring us to a good match. Gunther is amazing, one of the top 3 wrestlers on the planet. I can't sit here and deny him. You're going to put him in anything, he's going to fucking bring you to at least a decent, adequate match, especially with somebody like this. I thought what they did was fine for what it was for someone at Bill Goldberg's age at 58 years old. No more, no less. Is it going to be a major talking point from this weekend, coming out of this weekend, going into next week? No, it's not. It happened. They made a big deal about it to sell some tickets in Atlanta for Saturday night's main event so they can counter-program AEW, and that's all it will be. They're already thinking about how to counter-program AEW for the next fucking show. They don't care. Like I said, he was nothing more than a chess piece in their pettiness against AEW. The part that got me, and this is just a huge fucking synonym to describe WWE in 2025. After the match was over, Goldberg was surrounded by friends and family in the ring. He grabbed the mic and thanked them all. He went on to say that he loved the fans and thanked them for showing up here. And I honestly, from watching on Peacock, I don't know what he said after that. I don't know if it was translated or transcribed by anybody or any site. But the show just magically cut him off. They just cut to black to do whatever they need to do. I was watching on Peacock after the show had finally aired. I watched it around, 1:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And it just fades to black, and then it goes into some Charlotte Flair documentary on Peacock. But I was just listening to Bill Goldberg speak. What happened? Where'd the rest of his little goodbye speech go? I'm watching this, and I see everybody in the ring surrounding Bill Goldberg. Diamond Dallas Page is there. You got some friends and family in there. And then you got Michael Cole standing there. And the look on Michael Cole's face, the way his facial expressions just resonated off of my iPad where I was watching it. I mean, I felt uncomfortable, and I wasn't even in the ring. I felt uncomfortable watching Michael Cole, who presumably looked at a fucking cameraman telling him he's got like 10 seconds left, And Michael Cole rolled his eyes in a way like, what the fuck do you want me to do? This guy's giving a little mini retirement speech, goodbye speech. What the fuck do you want me to do? Take the microphone away from him and cut him off while he's mid-speech in front of his friends and family in his fucking hometown city? Ridiculous. I get it for network television. I get it that they need a hard stop at 10 p.m. Eastern. But I watched on the app, and I watched on streaming. Why didn't they continue the promo? Why didn't they continue to give Bill Goldberg his speech on the app? The app cut when NBC cut on Channel 4 here in New York City. Watching on the app, I should have been able to see the entirety of the speech. They cut the app on Peacock to go show me some fucking Charlotte Flair documentary. And when I watched it, the runtime on the scroll bar was 1 hour and 36 minutes. Show ended 6 minutes before the Charlotte Flair documentary stopped playing. So you had a good 5 or 6 minutes to show me Bill Goldberg's speech, but you want to fill the fucking dead air after the show goes off the air with some fucking promo or vignette for a Charlotte Flair documentary. Again, I'm not the biggest Bill Goldberg fan. But if you need an analogy for WWE's fucking 2025, if you need a definition for WWE's 2025, look no further than this fucking botch right here on NBC for Saturday night's main event, Bill Goldberg's retirement. Absolutely inexcusable. If I'm Bill Goldberg or someone in Bill Goldberg's family watching at home, I'm fucking pissed. I'm pissed. That guy gave 28 years of his career to wrestle here at 58 years old in his final match against the best guy that WWE's got, and then you want to cut him off mid-sentence. I don't believe what I was watching. I mean, it's just so fucked up. Some will say, who cares? It's Bill Goldberg. It's just the definition of what WWE's product is nowadays. Everybody's like, JD, it's an NBC Universal thing. It's an NBC problem. There's a hard cutoff at 10 p.m. That's fucking great. You went through an injury that derailed a match earlier in the night where an audible was clearly called, and outside all the 76 fucking advertisements that they shown, you couldn't cut a couple of them to give this guy another 90 seconds to get his fucking words out. Did NBC format the fucking show, or did WWE format the show to fit into the 2-hour boundaries set forth by NBC Universal? Did NBC executives fucking produce the show? Did they format the show? Did they give several segments on the show their run times? Or was that Triple H? Or was that the producers and the agents that WWE's got running the fucking show? Who is it? Who is it? Who asked for a 16-minute Bill Goldberg match? That's what I want to know. Now, granted, we got one commercial break in it, but who asked for a 16-minute Bill Goldberg match? You could have cut the match down to fucking 14 minutes and did what you needed to do, and then go home at that time and given him another 90 seconds to get his shit off. Nobody asked for a 16-minute match. This is WWE's fault just as much as it's NBC Universal's fault. These Saturday Night Main Event shows are fucking awful. There's one every quarter, and once every quarter there's a fucking problem with time management and the way that this show is formatted. Maybe less of Jesse Ventura. Maybe less of Joe Tessitore standing on the podium. Maybe less commercials. Maybe less advertisements. Maybe I don't give a fuck about a boxing match that's taking place on Netflix in September in Saudi Arabia. I don't fucking care. You took 90 seconds away from Bill Goldberg, who gave you 28 years of a fucking pro wrestling career, to retire in your company against the best guy you got, and you couldn't give him 90 fucking seconds. That's the WWE that we're living in. Oh, we don't give a fuck about Goldberg. We're only using him to fucking combat and counter-program AEW. Who gives a fuck? I would rather get fucking 18 other commercials off than give Bill Goldberg 90 seconds to thank friends and family for coming out and seeing him wrestle at 58 years old. Do you know how fucked up that is? Do you know how fucked up it is? If they wanted to do it, they would have done it. And nobody did it because they don't give a shit. Might not be a big deal to you, certainly not a big deal to me, but I'm here to call out the right and the wrong, the good and the bad. And that is the definition of WWE in 2025. Fucking greed. Greed. The Saturday night's main event shows are a complete waste of time. Nothing happened on this show that we will be talking about in the future. It leads to nothing. They are used as backgrounds to get a match at SummerSlam, or in this case, plans completely derailed because of Rollins' injury and a retirement match where they needed Bill Goldberg on this show because AEW was on this night and they wanted to counter-program AEW with something major, like Bill Goldberg's retirement. The match itself was fine. Am I going to go back and rewatch Bill Goldberg's match at any point with Gunther to relive his retirement? No. It was a one and done, and like I said, it was a chess move by WWE, and they used Goldberg as their fucking king and checkmate. They thought they had a checkmate, but believe me, they did not. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you enjoyed this little mini review, I know I would usually go live for these types of things. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you guys hit that thumbs up down below. Please hit that subscribe button as well down below and turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go out there and check out all the other content on the channel. Depending on when you watch this, if you're watching this as I upload it, I will be live during WWE Evolution tonight or after the show. When it's over, the live stream will go up and I will be live on YouTube. If you guys are finding this after the fact, maybe later tonight, tomorrow, I will have been live for Evolution, so go back and watch my thoughts on Evolution. Regardless, I will be with that review and post show live on YouTube. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And please hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up, like I said. 1,000 likes is the goal. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Saturday night's main event. Tonight, guys, I'll see you for Evolution right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.